Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Tyler.
And this week, the Wheel of Destiny landed on my pick, The Pianist.
This is the greatest pianist in Poland, maybe the whole world.
Hey, he said pianist.
No one plays Chopin like you.
I hope it's a compliment.
I didn't know you were Polish.
By order of the governor of the Warsaw district, there will be created a Jewish district in which all Jews will have to reside.
You must get away at once. I'm not leaving. Can't I take my chances here?
But I have to keep moving here. The Germans are hunting down indiscriminately now.
Keep as quiet as possible. No one knows you're here. I want to help. I want to do something. Don't let them get you alive.
If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge?
The Pianist. There we are.
They make it seem so warm and fuzzy.
A little bit, with just a sprinkling of depression.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most Oscar baity trailers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So The Pianist is a movie directed by the unfortunate, terrible human being, Roman Polanski. This is based on a true story, as the trailer just said. During World War II, acclaimed Polish musician Władysław faces various struggles as he loses contact with his family. As the situation worsens, he hides in the ruins of Warsaw in order to survive. And that is a very brief
Władysław Spielman.
description of what this movie is about. And it is
It's a sad movie.
a sad movie.
Jesus Christ.
Oscar-winning movie. Adrian Brody won for Best Actor. Was the youngest person to be nominated and win for Best Actor at the age of 29, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
20.
Oh my God, he was 29?
Can you believe we live in a world where Adrian Brody won Best Actor and Gary Oldman hasn't?
Yeah.
I don't.
Has Gary Oldman not won Best Actor?
I don't think so.
Has he won Best Supporting?
Maybe.
I think he has.
Not for Darkest Hour when he played Churchill.
I don't know. Let's see.
But yeah, so this movie won 3 Oscars, Adrian Brody being one of them. This was released in 2002, and it was written and directed by Roman Polanski. He won for Best Director in 2003 and adapted screenplay Ronald Harwood for this movie. Polanski was in hiding basically when the Oscars happened because of the accusations and the allegations and the terrible things that he did to that poor girl. It's very funny.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
That poor girl.
And
Tyler, get on the mic.
but yet,
Get that mic up to your lips.
but yet, I put the movie on the wheel because I feel like it was a movie that I had never seen it before, and I feel like it is acclaimed. It is an acclaimed movie.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about.
See what all the hype's about?
Yeah, I really wanted to get that dose of depression in me.
Get a good sad in you.
And I've seen Schindler's List, so I want to see a different version of of that, maybe from the outside of the goings on.
Gary Oldman has won for Darkest Hour.
Oh, he did?
You're correct. Yeah.
Okay.
He was nominated also for Mank and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't.
No, never seen it
No,
before.
no. First time watch.
I didn't even watch it this
First
week.
time's watch.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, still.
I'm curious to see what you guys think about it. This movie was a little bit long, 2.5 hours. I watched it in two sittings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah,
I don't do that often, but for a good depressed fest, Sometimes you
It's
got
only so much you can handle.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I watched it in one whole take.
No, because you had to.
Yeah, you only had time this morning to watch it before you came to the show.
Oh yeah.
And you had to watch the movie, make up your streaming pick.
Yeah.
Watch
I-
1/3 of a movie to talk about.
Yeah, I
it.
had to go through all the whole motions. You know my way.
Do you feel? Are you sad that you couldn't watch this in your dungeon? Since the dungeon doesn't exist to you anymore.
I mean,
you have to watch it in the warmth of a home with
so-
loving families surrounding you.
Well, so as everyone knows, I used to have a dungeon, which I coveted. And then, unfortunately, due to circumstances, I had to go to my Fortress of Solitude in another area.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
then-
forgot. The
yeah,
Fortress of Solitude was
yeah,
Dungeon V 2.0.
Yeah, the Fortress of Solitude. And then now I'm in, I don't know what
You're
I'm
in a
gonna-
mansion, basically.
I'm in a mansion.
You're in your suite.
I'm in the Wayne the Wayne Manor.
Yeah, Miner
Yeah.
Mansion.
Yeah, the Miner
And
Mansion.
You're being waited on by servants while you're watching this depressing World War II movie.
You have a whole wing of the house devoted just to you.
Does it feel weird? If any movie you should have watched in the dungeon or the Fortress of Solitude, it would have been this movie.
I know that would have been a great set and setting, but unfortunately, I have to work with what I got.
Unfortunately, my parents love me, and I'm in the warm embrace of them in a loving
You
household.
could have gone into the wine cellar, but
That's not Tyler. That's not Tyler's way.
Yeah.
Tyler prefers life to be hard and cold.
Yeah, that's right.
But okay, let's get some initial thoughts on The Pianist.
Okay.
Yes. Pete, what did you think?
So, my first viewing of The Pianist, I will call it The Pianist as a form of non-silent protest to Joseph's fakakta pronunciation.
The Pianist says pianist.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's Polish, so, and I'm not. I only have three. Only have three consonants in my name, so I'm not Polish. Yeah, so this movie is it's exactly what I signed up for. It's a depressing movie about
what I signed you up for.
Yes, yes, what you signed me up for. You wrote my name onto the list, onto the Schindler's List, and it was depressing. It was sad. It was. I think that my favorite part about it was that you get to see this slow progression of like pre-war Poland and the culture that was there, and then you're seeing it from this kind of maybe slightly privileged family. Like he's this world-renowned pianist, and people know him. He's of note, and they probably have a fair amount of money, not rich but not poor, because they had a pretty nice big size apartment that the family was living in together. And you just see the decline and this like almost like inch by inch taking away their rights and then taking away their lives.
Yeah.
And that is something that feels like it's, I mean, I like to say that it's of the time now but it's always been of the time. There's always somebody trying to take someone else's rights away.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, being able to recognize that, I mean, the famous quote is, what if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like being able to acknowledge that these terrible things happened in the past and saying, yeah, it's not outside of the realm of possibilities of things that has happened in the past that we may have certain people or certain groups of people trying to take away the rights and then the lives of other people in not only the world, but also our country. And seeing that some of these things happen, it's like, well, first off, you can't have this much money in your house. And then also, we're going to move you to this part of the city. And then just a little bit more, kick you down a little bit further. And it's like, at what point were the other citizens in this world, in Poland, the non-Jewish citizens, when were they ever going to stop and like stand up to what was happening?
Well, they did it. Well, I mean, we can get into that, but some good people did.
Some do.
Some people did, and they were shot, I guess, for that. I suppose, but I mean, it even started with, they couldn't go into a certain cafe, no Jews allowed in the cafe. And
they had to have the armbands and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
it's this slow march to death was this very sad. And, there's not much comic relief in this movie. There's no levity. There's no. Even the one scene where the mom goes, all right, nothing's sad at the table. And the brother's like, here's a joke. And he tells this depressing ass story that's not even a joke, but a surgeon that's murdered whilst operating on someone. And you're like, how was this funny, guy? You know, read the room.
Yeah, definitely read the room.
Mom just said, let's be happy, at least for once at dinner, eating our cabbage and potatoes.
And they're
soup.
just like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all that being said, it was really effective and it was affecting, and it's a wonderfully shot movie. There's some set pieces that were really shocking and very cool, and seeing like the bombs going off and blow the windows out while people are inside the buildings was very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see, and sometimes in like war movies, you're like, oh, there's an explosion over there. Oh, and there's a bomb over here, and you know, unless you're right next to it, it's not really going to do much damage to you. But then you have the bomb go off outside of the window, and just the pressure explodes the glass into where he's recording, and you're like, holy shit, yeah, they're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And then just watching the whole thing through his perspective, you know that there's even more terrible things happening in the world outside of his view, because the family goes on the train and they're off, and he's the one gets saved for whatever reason, and you're like, there's a whole nother movie there.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg made it.
Yep.
And you don't this is a terribly depressing, sad, horrific movie story that's being told, but there's even more horrible things out there.
Yeah.
So the constraint to be able to show, like, the broad view would be like a World War II war documentary. A lesser broad view would be like Schindler's List and the terrible atrocities that happened at the concentration camps. An even more focused view is The Pianist. It's like you're seeing one person's view and knowing that person got out, made it through all this terrible shit, and then still lived a life, got remarried, remained a famous concert pianist. Was it's kind of affecting, and it was very interesting. Just made me think a lot while being sad the whole time. So, do I like this movie? Yes, I think so. I'm adding this to the list of movies that I are good and I do like that I don't want to watch again.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad as some of the other ones on that list, but it makes the cut. So thanks for putting it on there, you asshole.
Yeah. Oh, welcome. Tyler, what did you think about this?
Okay, so I did not watch this in a two-part sort of session. I watched it all at once at 8 o'clock in the morning.
This morning.
Yeah, this morning.
That's why you were late.
You were late this morning because of that.
No,
you normally start at 6 in the morning when you start watching your movies on the day of recording.
I was feeling a little bit worked over, so I slept in a little bit. But so yeah, the Pianist, I think is it is a very depressing movie. It's unrelenting in its misery. What I really
that should be on the poster. Unrelenting in its misery.
Yeah. It really makes you. So what I really like about this movie is it takes the viewer into the muck and mire of the late 1930s, early 1940s Poland, which was just like it was a complete war zone, filled with like terror and like the Holocaust was happening, and I think Adrian Brody was very. He emoted very well as far as being a young Jewish man who has lost his family. Some of the scenes in this movie that you might have looked over, but were really impactful. Like just like him, like walking through the streets and like seeing like dead children and like dead people, and he's just like walking over them because it's like, what is he gonna do? Like it's so. If you get into that like mindset of like he's seeing all of this misery happening to his people, but he like can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
like,
he literally can't do anything.
So if you're a smart person, you can infer like he's just taking in all of this trauma like day in and day out, and even in the beginning of the movie when they're like trying to have to figure out where to hide the money, like that
was an interesting detail.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's so horrifying to think. Like I can't even imagine being in that sort of situation. I would say though that this movie is I compared it to the film that we reviewed a while back, Come and See. I think Come and See is a little bit more effective on portraying the atrocities of war on a country. But I also think that The Pianist definitely I feel like it was a little bit too long. It should have been more like an episodic sort of kind of film.
So you wanted to be longer?
Well, I mean,
3 1-hour segments.
I wouldn't say like 3 hour one. I wouldn't. I think if it was more like broken down into like episodes rather than just like a 2.5 hour movie, because there's a lot to be desired as far as like following this man in his journey. But this movie really, man, I won't say it depressed me, but I definitely felt a certain way, much akin to how I felt after I saw Come and See. Like after I saw Come and See, like I emerged from my fortress of solitude and I was smoking a cigarette, and my partner at the time was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I have no idea.
And then, much like The Pianist, I like just walked out into my front yard, and I started smoking a cigarette. And
probably shouldn't compare your having to watch a movie as a comparison to living through the Holocaust.
And my mom,
just like Adrian Brody, I felt like I was there.
But that's what's really great about this film, though, is like it really feels like you're like put into like this.
There.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing too, because I feel like a lot of people should be acutely aware of the atrocities that the Jewish people had to suffer through. So after watching this initially, I think either could have been cut down or it could have been more episodic. I think Adrian Brody's character did a fantastic job, and it was certainly a movie. It was certainly a movie.
I haven't got that one for a while. It was certainly a movie.
Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying.
Tyler, pull the Band-Aid off.
All I'm saying is that it was certainly a movie, and thank you, Joseph, for allowing me, or forcing me, I should say, to watch this.
Okay.
I'm playing you off, Tyler.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
I was already done.
So it's my first time watching this too, and I mean, it's easy to say this movie is depressing because it's about a depressing subject matter, a real thing in history that happened, which was terrible, and I appreciated the different perspective of this. I don't know. Like, Schindler's List is a movie that, like, I watched it in high school, like in class, and there's I'm sure other schools have done that in the past as well. And I feel like this movie should also be shown in class because,
like Roots,
Schindler's List. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it. I feel like this movie paints a better picture of like, it wasn't just like boom, Holocaust, like it's all of a sudden happening.
Yeah.
This is the slow progression of putting down a whole race of people and slowly removing pieces of their humanity and their autonomy and what actually went down and how it went down. It wasn't just like the Nazis rolled into town and the Jews are like, oh, those are obviously bad guys.
Yeah.
Like it's more like they rolled into town and like the Jewish people are just like, well, I don't know what this means right now. And then they slowly introduce these new rules and protocols and things you have to wear. You can't walk on the sidewalk, and they're just slowly asserting their dominance over.
Like they were just making up those rules as they went along too.
They were. That's the whole point.
Because they were just asserting their dominance.
Yeah.
And essentially trying to put them in their place, right?
Yeah.
As these Nazis do. And then the whole like the creation of the ghetto and like we're all going to be forced to move here. So I think this movie paints a really good picture on how it happened. And Roman Polanski went through the Holocaust. Like
Did he?
his parents went through the
Oh, his
Holocaust.
parents were in it.
And
Okay.
he was involved as well as a child of them.
And I was there too.
And so he has experience. Like he was there, so he knows how it went down. And so
Yeah.
he's drawing from his own experience, and he puts it into the movie. And there are certain things about the movie that he changed that mirrors his experience versus what actually happened.
I guess it's true what they say: hurt people hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really effective in that way, and I felt like that was really compelling, because things happen just so like just casually. It's not like there are explosions and stuff, and the movie starts with like this. He's recording in a studio, and then just like you hear bombs going off in the distance, and then. But they're acting like it's like semi-normal to hear bombs happening, but they just get closer and closer, and then it hits the building, and then they evacuate.
The dad does say, "We'll do what we did with the last war, and we'll hunker down. We'll do this." So it's almost like they've been through it before.
So they're not unfamiliar with that life, that type of life, and
what a life!
Yeah,
oh boy.
And so like the way the director makes it seem like everything just happening so casually, like the Nazis are just patrolling the town. It seems like there's probably a curfew and there's like these rules that like, we're not privy to that maybe aren't said in the movie. And like the Nazis are just going off their own agenda, right? They're just going into houses and just killing random people. And when they're
just indiscriminately.
When they're in that apartment building and they're watching the other family get terrorized, and then the grandpa in the wheelchair.
Oh my god! that was probably the most of all the horrible things,
because
it's just so matter of fact. It happens
because it's not even like a climactic moment.
Yeah,
it like the movie doesn't portray it to be that way. It just happens, and then they're witnessing it, which felt more effective than if they made
the camera in the room with it.
If they made it like this big grandiose event where it's just like it just happened in front of their eyes, just like it's happening in front of our eyes. And
it's almost like Rear Window, where he's watching all this shit happen and he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and it was really effective on that front, and they didn't let up really at all in terms of the terrible things happening. Because even though he gets spared essentially from going to the concentration camp, he still, it has to live with, one, being alone, and two, what is happening with my family, and three, hiding out from the Germans throughout the rest of the movie.
I mean, he's basically living in a prison because, like, even though like he's he has the privilege of living in these flats, like he can't leave like at all. Like he's stuck there.
Well, yeah. At one point, he's locked in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I felt like the movie was really, really powerful for the way it portrayed this version of. And it was, it's a true story, so it's not like it just made it up. It just like put a fictional character in, and we just followed him around. It
went specifically off of the book that Spielman wrote for him.
I thought it was really interesting, really, really compelling.
All right.
So yeah, I liked it. It was long, but I feel like it didn't
feel that long to me.
It didn't feel like a chore. I didn't feel bored at all.
It also didn't feel, none of the scenes didn't feel unnecessary either. Like it's like different shades of sorrow. Every scene is a different shade of trauma,
Yeah.
It's like it's first it's these societal changes, and then it's the actual death that's facing them from the soldiers bursting in at any moment.
Yeah.
And then it's, we don't know where we're going, and we're being forced to empty the belongings of our friends and family out of their suitcases.
Yeah.
And then eventually it turns into physically not being able to eat or having jaundice, and the guy's like, "That's okay. You can have jaundice. That's okay."
Yeah.
No big deal.
Then the people robbing other people, like eating food off the ground.
Oh yeah, that scene was rough to watch.
Yeah.
Eating food like a dog.
Well,
because you're with these people, and they're like wondering, like what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to like have our own path to get to work? And it's like you're confused as well along with them.
Yeah.
I gotta disagree with you guys. This definitely felt like a chore of a movie to watch. Like, not in a bad way. Like, I definitely thought it was a good movie, but my God, like I was fighting for my life watching this movie.
In what way? Like sleep?
Well, not, I mean, not sleep, but just more like trying to just.
Be interested.
When you say you're fighting,
well, yeah. Sleep actually was prevalent.
when you say you're fighting for your life while watching a film,
That you say is good.
what do you mean by that?
I think it's more so.
Or are you just saying things to say?
Maybe
them?
no, that's not true at all. I think my attention span like definitely has taken a hit recently.
How about TikTok?
Maybe so.
You're flooding your brain with this like you have to have a new thing every 45 seconds.
You gotta watch it with split screen with Subway Surfers.
Yeah.
So.
I
Crash Bandicoot playing on the bottom half of the screen.
Yeah, I don't
in vertical mode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was because of the depressing subject matter that I was watching that it was really hard to keep up with. Because like there is just no positive relief like at all, like and there shouldn't be. I'm not saying that there should be, but like it's
After I said that, there was no levity in the film. There is one line which got a chuckle out of me. Is when he's hiding out after the German soldier finds him and makes him play the piano for him, or asks him to play the piano for him.
Oh my god, yeah!
And then he's hiding out in the hospital ward, I believe, and he's wearing the jacket of the German officer, and then the cavalry comes, and he's like, "Oh, cool, they're here to save me." He starts walking towards them. They fire at him, thinking he's a German because he's wearing the German jacket. And he comes out and he's like, I'm Polish. And they stop firing, and he goes, "Why are you wearing the German jacket then?" He goes, "It's cold.
I'm cold."
He says, "I'm cold."
Yeah, and I got a little chuckle because it's like, what the fuck else are you gonna say?
Yeah.
I'm literally about to die. Can you not see me? I'm not a German soldier in good health and good spirits.
I mean, like, look at him. Like, of course he's not going to be a German soldier.
It's not like he was firing at them.
No, it's like a emaciated, old, young man who's overgrown with a jacket that doesn't fit him. With trashed shoes and trash pants.
What's a really interesting fact about that jacket too is I believe this is just my headcanon, because when the Nazi general gave him that jacket to keep him warm,
he said, "Careful, let's just see you wearing that."
Well, no. So there was Nazi patches on it. But when you see Adrian Brody's character out in the snow, like when he's trying to greet the Russian soldiers and citizens, there's no patches on it.
Oh, he ripped it off.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
Good
I'm thinking that was his line of thinking. Like, I don't want anyone to think I'm a Nazi. And
I would hate to think someone thought that I'm a Nazi.
I know.
How embarrassing that
I'm
would
not
be.
a Nazi.
I know.
Please don't think that.
How embarrassing.
Don't worry about me. I'm not racist. But
that's going on the board. Tyler, you said something interesting earlier when you compared this to Come and See.
Oh yeah.
And you said that was a little bit more effective to show the horrors of war.
Yes, I do agree with that.
I agree with that. Well, you agree with your own statement?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I agree with you in that
and he
sense.
agrees with you agreeing with him.
There we go. It's like a big circle jerk.
Wonderful.
So I do agree. Come and See it's very effective to show that like the battle hardened.
Come and See is a nightmare.
It really is a nightmare for that, especially for that one child, that one kid who's like
needed therapy after the filming.
I know.
He'd be hypnotized.
He thought that war was going to be this glorious thing, and it was going to be basically he's going to do his due diligence and he's going to fight for his country and all this stuff, and it just obviously didn't. He had a bad day. Okay. This is more like, instead of showing the aspect of war, this is the aspect of like how terrible humanity can be.
Right.
Because there is very little war in it. There's a couple raids.
Yeah.
But there's no fighting between two sides.
No.
Almost
see
nothing.
It's more of like the futility of it all. Like when
futility?
Is it futility?
Futility. Futile.
Futile. Okay. Well, you know what I mean. And so I agree with you on that. Is like this innocent man who is just a piano player for a local radio station is thrown into this horrible situation, and he doesn't have any survival skills. He's not a soldier or anything like
upper
that.
crust.
Yeah.
I just
He wears a suit all the time. His brother even comments on it. He's like, "You wearing that ridiculous tie?"
Yeah, he has
It's like, why are you even doing that?
Yeah, he has this 3-piece suit that he's always wearing.
Yeah, Spielman's got drip. I can tell you.
I like how he's like, "What's the tie got to do with anything?" Like,
I know. What do you bring my tie into this?
But really, what this movie kind of like brought, like not for the first time realization, but it kind of like rekindled this. It
reminded you that Nazis are bad.
It rekindled this. It rekindled this thought that I have. Like it's like there's these. I mean, throughout the whole world and throughout history, like you have like these armies and like dictators and generals who are trying to take away the rights of people, and it's just like. Why? Like this? Why?
Why are you doing that?
I know. What they're so mean though.
But look, you'd be haven't you seen Planet of the Apes?
No, the Nazis have not.
Well, I mean, they should take a look at it, because if we're all grouped together and we're all nice to each other, then there's not going to be any bombings or children dead on the GD ground. Like I don't.
Though. It's gonna happen
again and again and again.
It's gonna happen forever.
I don't remember saying.
That's the unfortunate reality is absolute power corrupts absolutely, and people don't give a shit. You know,
oh, man.
if it makes this dictator just a little bit more comfortable to kill this person, they're gonna do it.
Yep.
But it's like a defect in their brain.
I'm sick of it though. I'm sick of it. Like
I don't like Nazis, and I don't care who knows it.
I'm so sick. I'm so sick of this like illogical genocide. But this movie is definitely beautifully shot, though. It makes it. I felt cold watching this movie. I had to put a blanket over my shoulders while watching it. Maybe for comfort as well, because
it didn't seem necessary. I don't want to say necessarily it was beautiful, but it was very, like deliberately shot.
Yeah, and it was the color in the movie was deliberately reduced, like grayed out as the movie went on.
Oh, really?
It was a
I noticed that. I noticed that.
It was a choice.
Easy there.
It was a choice for that to happen, and to make obviously Adrian Brody's character look more pale and gray and defeated. And
I wonder if he actually lost any weight during production.
He did. He ate a daily diet of 2 boiled eggs and green tea for breakfast, a little chicken for lunch, and a small piece of fish or chicken with steamed vegetables for dinner over a 6-week period. And he lost 31 pounds for the role.
Dang, 31
and
pounds.
His weight before was 161.
I was gonna say look like he has 31 pounds to lose.
He's a tall dude.
That diet sounds like the fish from Shape of Water. That's his diet too. Two boiled eggs, little fish.
Yeah.
You're comparing.
He's a 10, but he only eats eggs.
Person to
no, not Adrian Brody's diet.
Just his diet.
Not the characters.
Yeah.
Apparently, Spielman, his last name, so his name's Vladislav Spielman. Polish.
Spielman,
It's the Polish phonetic spelling of the German word Spielman, meaning bandsman or minstrel. Hence,
cool.
The German Hosenfeld's remarked that it's a good name for a pianist.
I didn't understand that. That's interesting. I heard that line. I'm like, that must be something I don't understand, because I thought he was just German.
I thought he was just going like for a vibe effect. Like he's like, that sounds like a really good pianist.
That Nazi had a real vibe.
He's like, I got a vibe about you, Spielman.
You Spielmans.
I think this is interesting. This movie's kind of. I feel like this might be like considered required viewing.
That's why I'm saying they should show it in schools.
Yeah. Do you what other weird movies? Well, not weird, but what other maybe disturbing movies did they show you in school?
Disturbing?
The only one I can think of was Roots.
Roots?
Yeah, Roots. We watched the whole Roots.
We watched The Wiz.
Red Asphalt.
Red Asphalt. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did. I think it was Red Asphalt 6 or something like that, though.
Red Asphalt 6, The Return of the Drunk Driver.
I mean, I didn't watch it.
I
didn't watch it in school. I watched it in taking the driving tests.
Oh, I never seen any of those. They gave me. I didn't even have to take the test. They just gave me my license.
Disturbing movies. I mean, I took a military history class.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it was the easiest class.
Is this in film school?
No, it was in high school.
What?
And they showed you Braveheart.
No, not Braveheart. We did American Military.
American military.
And so we watched like Patton. We watched
that's cool.
Oh my
war,
God,
war
Patton?
documentaries. We watched Saving Private Ryan, obviously. And we watched Hacksaw Ridge.
You say obviously, like they're showing high school student aged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a class
Children
about war.
saving Private Ryan.
We can watch Schindler's List, which is I watched in world history.
We didn't watch that.
And we in health class we watched a woman give birth.
Oh yeah, we did watch that.
That was
Yeah,
probably one of the more
took care-
disturbing things that we watched in high school.
That took care of me for weeks.
We also watched
Gross.
Band of Brothers, like the whole show.
We
What
watched
school did you go to?
we watched El Rey Leon in Spanish, which was The Lion King.
Oh yeah, I watched Napoleon Dynamite in Spanish class.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that
You
was
took
interesting.
Spanish. Wow.
What-
Interesting.
What did you take? Did you take French?
No, pretty much dropped out of school.
Oh, so I forgot you dropped out of high
Why
school.
is that interesting that I took Spanish?
Spanish. Oh, class. That's interesting.
Oh, why would you, a California native, take Spanish class?
Well, so for some reason, I took you as someone who took like a French class.
How dare you?
I don't even know if they offered French. They offered Japanese, but not enough people signed up.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be pretty sweet to learn Japanese.
Did they show the Pacific in the Japanese class?
It didn't happen because not enough people signed up.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, so this the terrible things happening in this movie. I like the way that like he did some of these scenes, like the building the brick wall. You just see people building it in the beginning, and then it just kind of cuts back to it, and it's already built within seconds. I
felt like almost like a lot of the world building, or I should say timeline building, was like almost like a time lapse.
Yeah, a little bit.
Truncated little sections, and it cut forward, and this is happening. Cut forward, the next law. Cut forward. Everyone's got the armbands.
Yeah.
We're not gonna wear it. I don't care. We're not wearing it. And the next scene, they're wearing it.
And that's actually really interesting
It's like
too,
a
because
Curb Your Enthusiasm segment.
that's actually a really interesting point too, because they do show like, okay, this is 1939, oh, this is 1941, and like with like the month and year.
Yeah.
But with the time cuts that
6 years.
with the time cuts that they did not show like the date, like I think what the idea was, because of how fast it happened, like it's supposed to obviously for the audience, oh, this app happens really fast, like and
Yeah, before you know it, you're
It's like, yeah, exactly,
You're
before
goose
you know it.
stepping and Heiling Hitler yourself.
well,
I was worried that his not his lover, but his friend, that he
Oh, she was gonna turn on him
that
or
she was
something?
gonna like once it
thought
started
same thing.
happening that she was gonna be a Jew hater.
Yeah.
yeah, I was worried about that.
It didn't
too.
happen, but and then she's not really in much of the movie
Well, and then
after the first half.
Well, and then she gets done, and her husband as well, because they were hiding Jews.
I don't think we didn't see that.
No, you don't see it, but you hear it offhand, because when he has the emergency address that he goes to, and then he asks for, I think for the husband,
Sure.
the person who was at that safe house said like, yeah, no, they didn't make it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's sad.
yeah. So that really stunk. But like,
You know what? That was bad. I didn't like that. That stinks.
well, I mean, I didn't.
She was
like,
hot.
I didn't like the situation that had to happen, but like I commended them for like doing such a courageous act.
There's one line in the
I
movie.
just hate Nazis, dude. I hate them.
Okay, you don't. I mean,
Bro, yeah, quick virtue signaling over there.
Virtue
I don't think
signaling.
Tyler likes this movie very much because they give Nazis a bad name.
I know. He's like,
talking
he's
about?
like, I had to realivaate the people I hang out with.
I don't like
after
I've
this
been
movie.
giving nothing but praise for this movie, and you're telling me I didn't like it because don't you put that out there in the ether? People, we have powerful voices now, so like I don't want you making everyone think I'm a goddamn Nazi.
If you're really anti-Nazi, you change those red laces in your boots. I've been asking for weeks. Every time you come over, we have a rule: take your shoes off at the Beta Studios.
I do.
And I have to look at him unlacing those red boots every time. Sorry, the red laces. No, the one line that really affected me, that it made me think about my own sister, was they're being led to the train car, and he's walking with his family, and he looks over at his sister, and he's like, I know this may be a really bad time to say this, but I really wish I would have known you better, gotten to know you better.
That broke my heart.
And you're like, what do you do in the last moments of potentially of their life? They're both thinking they're going to be led off to the slaughter, I assume.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, and it just kind of made me sad, thinking about
it's
missed connections and missed time with family.
It really is. I'm sure this is how. What we were shown in this movie was just like not even, just like a taste of what actually actual terrible things happening, because the Nazis are just like are terrifying because they're just like they'll just do whatever at any given point. For like you ask a question, they'll fucking break your nose.
Yeah.
Or they'll shoot you in the head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was the woman. She's like, well, where are you going? You gonna tell us? He just pulls out the gun and shoots her. Right then.
Like
We will ask the questions.
There's also a scene where they just randomly pick like 8 of the men to lay down on their faces.
Yeah. And then they just have to wait.
Walks down, and they all know they're going to die because the next one and the next one and the next one keeps getting shot in the back of the head, face down in the mud.
And then you think...
He gets to the last guy.
Out of ammo.
It slowly doesn't cut away. No quick edits. No nothing. He just... out of bullets. Hold on. Let me get my cartridge and load the gun up again. Cock it back. One more.
And the last guy who got shot was Adrian Brody's
like uncle or something.
I don't know what relationship they had, but I knew they were just friendly with each other.
He was his piano tuner. He's tuned his piano for him. That's a dying art right there. You want to make some real money? Become a piano tuner.
Piano tuning.
There's
typewriter repair, piano tuning.
Yeah,
tons of demand for those fields.
There actually is.
Yeah.
But
okay. Go do it, Tyler.
I don't have the dexterity to do that.
Dexterity.
It's got to be tough to tune a piano.
Yeah, you got to have the ear for it.
I do not have the ear for it as well.
Tyler, I've heard you sing. You have a beautiful, angelic, on-tune voice.
Yeah, sing right now.
I don't need the disparagement.
Sing the Nazi anthem.
I wouldn't even know how it goes. I
heard you singing it on your smoke break between episodes.
You were like mini goose stepping out there.
Yeah,
you're doing a Heil 5.
Tyler, please. This is a predominantly Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't do this.
I specifically requested this neighborhood for this high concentration of Jews.
I know. I mean,
don't use concentration Jews in the same sentence.
Oh shit! Oh god damn it! What have I done? I failed you.
I think the most shocking scene in this movie, though, that really took me off guard is when the Nazi. It's kind of like in the last quarter of the movie where the Nazi general like walks in on him when he's like trying to open up the can of I don't remember what the food that he was trying to eat from the can.
It's a can of food.
Well, so just like
what brand it was.
No, I just mean what type.
Was it sausage? Was it hominy?
I don't know. I don't
Garbanzo
beans, peaches.
It doesn't matter. But
green beans, perhaps.
He was like
another legume.
Legume. He was opening it with the fire stake in the pick and stuff like that. And then as soon as he turns around, like the Nazi is just right there, like, and he looks very menacing. And the way that they shot that scene is that they make him look giant because of course it's a menacing threat.
It's a Nazi.
It's a menacing threat to his life, and they just kind of sit there like awkwardly, and they're like.
It was interesting because
and he's like, "What are you trying to do?"
You kind of expected him to do something, and as soon as nothing happened, I was like, "Oh, this is a good Nazi."
Oh yeah, not all Nazis.
Yeah, the myth. Yeah, hashtag not all Nazis.
Well, it actually is interesting though, because like a lot of Nazis were forced to be Nazis.
No. We watched that movie. It's called A Hidden Life. You can stand up to it. What?
No,
Did you remember? We watched A Hidden Life.
I don't.
Terrence Malick movie.
I don't remember that.
The guy that's living in the village with his wife and daughters, and he gets recruited to the Nazis. He goes to the training camp and goes, "Wait, we're the baddies."
And then he goes to prison because he doesn't want to be a Nazi. And then you had the stance of like, you have a family, you be a Nazi, and you support your family. That's what you said.
Yeah, you did.
did.
You said, I would sign up and I would Heil Hitler myself.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Oh, God, I will never forgive myself.
These Nazi jokes are not coming out of thin air, Tyler. You've earned it.
All right, well... No, I'm not a Nazi.
What the hell are you talking about?
What I think, though, is that like there is like definitely like a sort of like human empathy coming towards that Nazi general, because he saw this man who's clearly dehydrated, starving, in the cold.
Good thing he had a bottle of body armor on him.
I needed to survive my precious body armor. Did you guys notice that this also had an ACAB message throughout this whole movie?
Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah, because his friend comes to like recruit him, and he goes,
the Jewish police.
Yeah, you could be part of the Jewish police. And he goes, I'd rather be dead.
Oh my God, I didn't even know that. I didn't even catch on to that.
You, Vladislav, you could play in our band. He's like, ACAB.
We have a police band.
Yeah, exactly. He's like ACAB, and he drops his mic.
That guy was such a weird character. Eastak, I think his name was. Something like that.
Yeah,
Eastak. And, he comes to recruit him or try to recruit him. And then later in the movie, he takes his brother. No, it's not his brother. Henrik. That's his name. He's like living with his family. I don't know if he's
like
actually
brother-in-law or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. And then he takes him, and then Adrian Brody, Spielman, he tries to rescue him, and he tells him like, "Hey, Henrik is in there. Can you go get him?" And then he releases him.
Oh yeah, he got arrested. I think it's his brother-in-law.
And then Henrik is like, "What the fuck, man?
Yeah,
I don't need your help,
bro."
It's like,
why'd you break me out of prison, asshole?
Yeah, what the hell? I know. I was like, what? He just like saved you.
He wanted to die for the cause. He wanted to martyr himself.
I guess so.
I mean, like, there's this one line in the film too where Adrian Brody's character, he kind of just like is talking down on like when the resistance fighters get killed. He's like, why did they do that? Like, if they knew they were gonna die or something to that effect. And then the wife, his friend, the wife of the guy who gives him the address to the safe house, she's like, well, they died with dignity, and that's good. Like that's
good.
That's what she literally says. She says, and that's good.
Yeah.
And Adrian Brody kind of has like, and he emotes this really well. He emotes like the realization that dying with dignity is better than dying a coward.
Sucking
I suppose.
slop out of the street.
Oh yeah. I mean, if a man's hungry, like,
I'm gonna rob this old lady and I'm gonna eat her food off the ground.
I'd suck some slop.
I mean,
I suck slop and I'm not even starving.
I'm not,
Have you ever seen me eat soup? It's terrifying. I'm eating on the couch and I just see Brianna glaring at me from the side.
She's just like, I'm gonna go up my.
She's
I'm
like,
gonna go up to the room
before we conclude this.
Okay,
I think we don't have anything additional to say. Tyler, you said earlier that you disagreed with us, saying that you felt it was a chore to watch this movie.
Yes.
Now, but at the same time, you're saying it's great, it's beautiful, and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the deal?
I think it's just the heavy subject matter.
You're fighting for your life.
Yeah, it really.
I'm made uncomfortable. I have to see the folly of my ways.
I have to see my brethren.
Portrayed as the bad guys throughout this whole thing.
Oh, stop it! You're gonna get me killed. You're endangering my life.
Now
out
you're
here.
fighting for your life.
No, so the reason why I said like it was a chore is just because of the heavy subject matter. It's a lot to take in, and I think it's just like when it weighing like the atrocities that Nazi Germany did on the Jewish people just really is hard to.
You think you had the chore? What about how they felt?
Yeah.
All you had to do was watch.
Really makes you think.
It's called.
I thought we were only talking about the film. I didn't realize we were talking about the plight of the Jewish people.
This is a competition. This is a competition. They had it worse than you.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, I can't believe I have to watch this.
No matter how much you argue the opposite, that you're having to watch this movie is worse than being in the Holocaust.
I'm not saying.
Hey, those are your words.
Yeah.
I'm just parroting it back to you. I'm just showing you nude to the audience.
Yeah.
So
let me just.
It was a chore because of the nature of what of the movie.
I mean, it was kind of like watching Come and See. Like it's a really heavy subject matter. Although I found the film very.
You're saying it's a tough watch.
It's that's a more apt description than what I said.
I agree with that. I also didn't find it nearly as disturbing as what I was expecting. I was expecting more disturbing and less depressing.
I kind of was too, but yeah, it was a little bit more.
You sound
depressing.
disappointed. I really wanted to see the plight of the Jews, but more disturbing.
That's
I want to be in there with them.
Yeah. No, the only last thing I wanted to say was that it's kind of weird that Spielman in real life, he met a woman named Halina, who was also his sister's name, and married her.
Oh yeah,
That would be weird to be married to someone named the same name as your sister.
He
Yes,
and
I
Spielman,
couldn't-
the real Spielman,
couldn't do it.
died when this movie was in pre-production.
Oh, really? That's sad.
Yeah, he died in 2000, I believe, right?
Yeah, this movie came out in 2002. And
Post 9/11.
yes, it did. Yes.
Yeah. In a post 9/11 world, this wins.
Our
Best,
boys are in our bunkers.
this doesn't even win Best Picture, just Best Director.
We don't see his family again ever.
No,
Right?
they're gone.
Is there ever a moment? I mean, the whole time he's kind of in just looking like terrible. He's going through a really rough time. But is there ever a moment like post, like after the Allied forces come? Is there ever a moment where he is
Like stops and reflects about it.
like thinks about like what happened to my family? I don't think so.
I don't
No,
think so.
no, there isn't. He just basically accepts. Okay, this is my life now.
Yeah.
The only thing that he takes from his past life is his ability to play the piano.
And there's not much piano playing in the movie.
I knew you were gonna say that because I was gonna say that too.
I like the
Where's
part.
the piano playing?
I like the part when he's muttering to himself, "Pain don't hurt." He's hardened up now.
They got inspiration from Dalton.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
never before Twilight.
don't
Before Twilight, Edward Cullen's piano playing scene, we had the pianist,
Oh yes, it all comes back
and
to
it got
Twilight.
and it got dethroned
Why are
when
we
Edward
get-
Cullen.
No,
You know, Robert Pattinson actually played the piano.
Yeah, and A League of Their Own set the tone for baseball movies until Twilight.
Yeah.
oh my god. Okay.
Just some really quick trivia before we sign off here. During the shooting of this movie, Roman Polanski, while scouting locations in Krakow, met a man who had helped his family survive the war.
Oh, interesting.
Like I said earlier, this is based, Roman Polanski actually did experience the effects of World War II and the Holocaust. Both of his parents were in the Holocaust and went to two different camps. They were separated.
Did they survive?
His father survived. His father went to Mauthausen-Gusen in Austria, where he survived the war, and his mother to Auschwitz, where she was murdered.
Jesus.
So
Awful stuff.
He has some experience in that. So I think it was a movie that wasn't just like, I'm a director, I'm going to make a movie about the Holocaust and World War II.
So like when Mel Gibson made The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. Just like that.
I'm qualified.
Yeah.
Well,
See?
I know. Okay.
It's a shame that he's just a terrible person, Roman Polanski, that is.
And Mel Gibson.
And Mel Gibson.
Yeah, there we go.
I think Mel Gibson has a little bit of a redemption
Arguably,
arc.
Roman Polanski, probably not arguably, Roman Polanski is a worse person.
Yeah. I mean, we
Arguably.
don't know, though, if Mel Gibson didn't also sodomize and rape a 13-year-old in a hot tub.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird, though, that what Polanski won Best Director?
He won
for
Best
this?
Director, but he was not at the Oscars to accept the award.
Yeah, because he
who-
would have been arrested.
Yeah.
Who accepted on his behalf?
Oh, I was just on that page.
Yeah, it was somebody interesting. Was it Mel Gibson?
No, but I do remember
It wasn't Mel
being
Gibson. It
controversial.
We're going to look this up right now. It's going to be here.
Harrison Ford.
Oh, yeah, Harrison Ford.
Harrison
Sure.
Ford.
Oh no, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, he Henry.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna stand behind this. I was nothing to do with this production, but I'm gonna take the award.
There is a list of names of like actors and other like filmmakers, people in the film world, who have signed like a letter or a petition to bring Polanski back. And there are names on there that I don't know if you want to look it up, but
I was gonna say, why even put your name on the list?
I don't understand. Like,
what's the benefit?
Like that, the whole letter to the presidential letter to Israel thing, that is like the most recent thing. Like, why is there a letter that needs to be signed? Why does that exist?
I don't know.
Part of me is like, it's just like their management or their agents that are doing that shit.
The Illuminati.
The first line of the letter, the Polanski letter says, We've all made mistakes.
Yeah.
Let he without sin cast the first stone.
But he doesn't deny that he did what he did, but he just says that it was consensual because he wrote a book about it.
Because she was drunk and a 13-year-old who was able to consent. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He defends himself in a book that he wrote. He's like, well, this is what actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Well-
came on to me, bro.
Yeah.
She was 13. I had no idea.
Well, maybe he was projecting a little bit in Rosemary's Baby.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Gaslighting the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But that's all we have to say, I think,
Cool.
about the pianist.
Yeah.
Let's throw some grades on this.
Okay.
Top heat.
Let's see. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's kind of hard not to give it an A. It's a very well-made movie. It was effective. It did what it was set out to do. You know, give me a little bit of context to a part of history that I think I know about, but done from a very personal perspective. And having watched, you know, thinking of it from in terms of like awards perspective, because it didn't win Best Picture, but it did win. It wasn't nominated, but it did win Best Director. It gotta have balls in the Hollywood world to give Best Director to Roman Polanski after what had happened, and he was fled the country.
Yeah, he was
out of the country because of the charges.
The accusations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who flees the country when they're accused of something and goes, "I was innocent though." Yeah.
Where's that cartoon running sound?
Oh yeah. It's actually what's I gonna say? It's I don't even have it. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Roman Polanski in France. I gotta get out of here. Wait, Hollywood's after me.
I gotta get out of here.
But the balls to be able to do that, I mean, I feel like it deserved it, because this could have been shot very schmaltzy-like and very saccharine and very Oscar baity. And I mean, it is an Oscar bait movie just because of the nature of it and what it's doing.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, that doesn't negate the quality of the film.
The directing of it, choosing to tell the entire story from this one man's perspective and making it that much personal and more focusing on like how terrible society's collapse is and how easily these people can be swayed to just go along with it was not something I was expecting, and it was very effective. So
yeah, for
all those reasons, I give it an A.
Wonderful. Tyler, what'd you give this chore of a movie?
Well, I'm gonna have to. What?
This chore.
That was okay. That was the wrong adjective.
No, look at a backpedal over here.
That's exactly right. That's what I'm doing. But I think, I have to agree with Pete. This is a solid A. The temerity that the Academy had to nominate and give the award to Roman Polanski was just incredibly out of left field, especially for the time that it came out.
2002.
Yeah, post 9/11.
Yeah, I know, right? Towers fell, boys in our bunkers.
I know. 65 years after the war.
Too soon.
I think. It's a long watch, and I think it only felt long for myself because of the subject matter that we were dealing with. But I think all in all, Adrian Brody's acting skills were very good. Like he's always a really good actor. I believe he might be a little bit underrated, but like he toes the line of being underrated and like just kind of average. I enjoyed the quality of the film, and so a solid A.
Nice. Well, it's going to be a AAA episode.
Hell yeah.
It's interesting because it is. I think it's an A movie, but it's not like a movie that I'm going to put like in my top 10 or anything like that.
Don't you dare say you're going to put on a list.
Put on a list.
Very insensitive.
But it is like, it's definitely like, if you haven't seen it, then it's really, really good and worth the time that worth the runtime, in my opinion.
I agree.
And Adrian Brody's acting, like his acting is very subtle. It's very just, it's not over the top. It's just like mostly him by himself and just reacting and to the environment that's being destroyed around him and all the terrible things that are happening to him. It was really, really good. And the gradual, the new perspective or the different perspective of how things happened in the beginning of everything of this whole war, and how they were treated, and was really really effective to me.
Yeah,
and I liked it a lot.
Cool, awesome.
But yeah, so that's all A's all around for the Pianist. It's off the wheel.
Yeah.
Let's move to the wheel.
One wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny. All right, the Pianist, or the Pianist, depending on what part of the world you live in, is off the wheel. And Joseph, what are you going to replace it with?
Well, right now I have Stalker on there. I had Stalker and the Pianist, which I feel like are two very heavy watches.
Okay.
And we got one of them out of the way. But I don't want to have another heavy watch. So I went a different route, something a little bit more, I think, entertaining. I've never seen this movie before. And this is 1986, Howard the Duck.
Oh boy.
Howard the Duck. It's a comic book movie. We never reviewed a comic book movie before.
The first MCU. Have we done?
Did we do a comic book movie?
Black Dynamite was a comic, but I think that was after.
Yeah, we haven't done a superhero movie.
Why?
Why not?
Wants to see that corkscrew dick.
Yeah.
Why Howard the Duck?
Why not Howard the Duck?
Did you just pull that out of your pocket and you're like, yeah?
No, he's got it on the list right there.
Yeah, looking at it right in front of me.
You have a list?
Tyler, do you have a movie list yet? I've been begging you for years.
I do
for years.
I do it on feel. I don't.
So you're the one pulling it out of your ass. Okay, so we have 8 movies on the old Wheel of Destiny right here. We got Howard the Duck from Joseph, Stalker from Joseph, An Unfinished Life from Mitch. It's a Patreon pick. Deep Murder from Stu, another Patreon pick. Hard Ticket to Hawaii from Pete. Rocket Man from Pete, not the Elton John biopic.
No.
Oh, yes.
The Hurt Locker from Tyler, and American History X from Tyler. And if you want your movie on the wheel, you can join up with the Patreons, $5 a month, and you go on the list. So we're going to spin this, and this is what we watch next week.
Come on, Howard the Duck. On and off the wheel.
Stalker and Howard the Duck. What a polar.
Joseph, call it.
It is The Hurt Locker.
Yes.
The Hurt Locker.
The Hurt Locker from Catherine Bigelow.
Tell us what The Hurt Locker is about, Tyler.
So essentially, I've never seen this movie before, but from what I can gather is that it's about a man who diffuses bombs in the Middle East, and it shows him going on adventures and and diffusing bombs in the Middle East.
Going on fun adventures.
I didn't say fun adventures.
It's basically
I
like
said
the Wizard of
adventures.
Oz, except for he's a bombs specialist.
And he's in the military and he diffuses bombs.
Yeah, and he grew up in Fresno because he's Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, so the reason why I chose this movie, this is an Academy Award-winning film from
Catherine
2000. Yeah, Catherine Bigelow, but 2008. Yeah. Okay. I thought for some reason I thought it was like 2010, but anyways, that's neither here nor there.
It's streaming on Amazon Prime, Tubi,
Nice.
Pluto TV, and Plex.
So very available for.
And I just got this on Steelbook, so if you guys, if you fellas want to watch it here, you can do that.
Ooh, that might be nice. I was really hoping for American History X, but I am really excited to
Another
watch
Nazi
that.
base.
I really wanted to see his heroes do that curb stomping.
You know what? I didn't even realize my insensitivity towards this episode by even invoking the name American History X. But
No, it's okay. It's more about your actions and sympathies, you know. Those are more offensive than wanting to watch a movie that is produced for Hollywood.
That's right. Oh man, I can't wait. I haven't hosted an episode in quite some. It's been almost 4 weeks.
We're gonna do like 10 takes for the new intro.
Oh,
for
P
you.
had 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Before this, and then I don't know what was before that, but
Yeah, it's been a while.
yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Tyler, do you remember what your last movie was?
Oh, my last movie. Oh, geez. Ooh, no, I don't.
Arachnophobia was.
Oh, that's right.
Only
that's
like
right,
3
that's
weeks
right.
ago.
That was not 3 weeks ago. That was 4 weeks ago. Maybe even 5 weeks ago.
No, it was.
So it was.
It was 4 weeks ago.
Last week was You Won't Be Alone.
Yes.
And then Paprika.
Yes.
And then Arachnophobia.
So 4 weeks from today, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
Won't
been
Be
4
Alone.
weeks today.
Look, I've been through a lot. So come on, give me a break.
Paprika was a co-opted. It was mine and Bruce's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It was a fan pick.
All right, well, can't wait.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else, fellas?
I think
That is a no.
I think that's it.
Okay, so thank you to our cool-ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, listener Steven, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. And thank you to the YouTube fan base that are watching out there, who are watching our shorts, watching our videos, subscribing, and sharing with their friends. If you are a podcast listener and you've made it this far, and you don't have any preference one way or the other, watching it on YouTube or watching it on a podcast stream, do us a favor and watch this on the YouTube stream. It makes a big difference because it allows us to show more watch hours, which shows YouTube that we're actually doing something for the...
Puts us in the zeitgeist.
That's right. We go on the algorithm, as they say.
Yes.
Elon Musk and Jeffrey Bezos and what's his name, Zaslav. They're all up in their tower.
Yeah.
They're watching us, our pitiful ants on our YouTube channel, and they're like, "We want more."
Yes.
So more watched hours is how that happens. So if it's possible, that would be great. Until next time. Thank you for following us as we watch this depressing chore of a movie, The Pianist. Follow us next week as we watch The Hurt Locker from Catherine Bigelow, Tyler's pick from The Wheel of Destiny. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and please follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class and leave us a voicemail, why don't you? We like to hear from the classmates and new listeners. That you can find that number at 209-730-6010.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class and at YouTube with the same name.
See you next time.
See you next time.
See ya.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.